Okay, here's some examples of San Diego. Yes.
That's fine.
Better? I can turn them off. Then I want them to do. Okay. Okay, great. How's that? Is that better? Now I can't see, but that's a good thing. I usually use enough paint, I can just paint by Braille. Okay, I went through, I had my studio there in Grand Junction for 20 plus years, and I went through, it took me a week to move my personal belongings, and it took me 3 weeks to move my studio. And I found paintings that I had no idea I still had. And so I have picked some, this was the Presidio. Yeah. And I don't know if you were with me on this workshop, whoever. Like I say, I've been in here quite a lot of times. And so I'll just show you some of the ones that I have here. And I have included some other ones that I thought was pertinent to them. Today in the workshop, we painted country scenes. We painted, the one that was up here was from Spanish Village. And then we went to Old Town with this one here. And so I thought I would bring paintings, I hastily ate salad is kind of revolting. So I will show you some examples here. I still paint like this, but I'm moving on to different things. I've been hanging around Quiller too long. He's got me going with acrylics and gouache. And I'm having just the most fun in my life with painting. And I have some new ideas I want to try. And once I stop teaching, then I'll be able to enjoy it and everything. So, okay, one of the things I really stress in my paintings is the white of the paper. The white of the paper is the most magnificent item in my paintings. And I cherish all my white areas. They're the gold in my painting is a white area. You cannot bring an area back to the original pristine white if you put a wash on it, okay? You can get the Mr. Magic erasers and rub a hole in your painting, but you can never bring it back to the factory white. And so one of the things that I do in my painting is I leave more white than I actually need. And then when I put my light source on, I call it a light source. It's the direction of the light is shining, and it's usually just from the left or the right. And I try to keep my paintings very simple, and I try not to say too much in them. Okay, this is Palm Springs, and as you can see, I really have some, they look like corn dogs. Right here, but those are actually untrimmed palm trees and everything. But look at the whites in here, okay? And then the placement, ouch. Yeah, and I always try to laugh at myself so I don't take myself too serious. I don't take my art very serious. I like to keep my art fun, okay? The minute I started painting for money is the minute I lost a very, very precious thing I had in art. I envy you people who paint for fun. I really do. When my mortgage and the food for me and my cat, Ruby, I still have Ruby going on 16 years. And yeah, she's a precious thing in my life. But the minute I started painting for money is the minute I lost the real freshness that I had about art, and art got really serious. But in return for me going down that road, I was able to travel to 3 continents. Okay, I worked in Canada, America, Alaska. I worked in Ireland, Holland, Belgium, and then I went into Guatemala twice, in Central America. I was the South American watercolor representative. I was the American representative in the second annual South American Watercolor Symposium they had in Paraty, Brazil. And so I went down there and I spent 13 lovely days. Actually, I just got back from Brazil and I came here in 2010. And so that was the last time I've been here. But this is See's Candy Building here. There's about a 4-block area in Palm Springs that there's 1,000 paintings there. All you got to do is just go sit and enjoy them. And there's Lucille Ball in bronze. I walked around the corner and I went, whoa. Back in my drinking days. But anyway, getting on to this, I'm starting to ramble. I need to move on here. This is a little scene I painted a year and a half ago in Saug in Tucson for Southern Arizona Watercolor Guild. It's a very, very simple, what I call a country scene. Okay, there are a few cars, a few people, but mainly they're very, very quiet scenes, very, very simple scenes. This is Palm Springs. And these were all done through the years, and you can kind of see I was really throwing the paint on this at this time of my life, but still I have maintained a freshness in my paintings over the years. Here's Kettner Boulevard from, I wonder when that was. I used to date them, but I don't now. But this is Kettner Boulevard, my first convertible that I ever painted, and my first little Fiat or midget little car there. But anyway, it's a wonderful way to spend your time. This is a demo for Saug. That's St. Joseph's in Tucson. And, but it's just a wonderful thing. And here's a little demo I did in Ireland. This is located in Passage East. It's Waterford County, County Waterford. And I was fortunate enough to go into the Cornloft studio in Ireland 3 different times. And I met some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. I had 3 nuns take my class, and they're all in their 80s. And being a former altar boy, it was like, I'm Mother Superior. and it was quite a week, and I really had to watch my language and everything. But this is from a trip in Mexico. I was working down in Puerto Vallarta for Flying Colors, and this is one of the. But look at the light in here. I really enjoy the white of the paper, the very colorful scenes, and then what ties it all together is your light source, is this gray I put on, and I nullify everything. That's when I start editing, okay? I paint the painting as like Grandma made the patch quilts, a shape at a time, okay? And there's 3 shapes that you need to realize in painting. It's your background, your middle ground, and your foreground. And the simpler you can keep those shapes and get them laid in as fast as you can, the better off your painting looks. Your painting will look fresh, okay? Next time you're at an art show, ask yourself which artist had the most fun. Which painting is the freshest? And that's what you need to look for, okay? And you should pattern your work after those couple items, you know? You don't have to get real smart with it. You don't have to figure the world out with your painting. You just have to show the world what you interpret through your heart. Feelings mean more than brains in art. You can think a problem to death, and you can think a painting to death, but the only way to understand it is just to get up and do it. Okay, this is a little scene in Paraty, Brazil. And, my hotel room had cobblestones, and my window was a wood shutter. And it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful for me to go down there. And, here's another Brazil here. And look at the wonderful color and the placement of the cars and none of the people. And I try never to put signs in my work. I don't have spell check. The minute you put the name of a business on the painting is the minute the painting slows down. Because you'll stop, the viewing public will stop and read it to see if you spelled it correctly. And so anymore, what I do with signs is I make a abstract section in my paintings with the signs. You cannot read them. This is one from Guatemala, on my trip to Guatemala. And I just enjoyed, I've never seen a more capitalistic, hard-working society than the Guatemalans. I mean, and they see you as an American, and I mean, you just can't get away from them because they want your money. And, but they're gracious people, and I had the most fun. I went in there in 2014 for Flying Colors out of Denver, taught a class, and my good friend, I met a wonderful Guatemalan artist, Juan Carlos Cardone. He's probably one of Guatemala's famous watercolors. He took my class. And we were sitting there during lunch break one day, and he asked me if I would come and teach the kids. And I said, for free? And get this, and I said, I don't go anywhere without getting paid. And I never did, but then I got home, and after talking with lovely Gail, we decided that I would go for free. And it was one of the most delightful trips I've ever had. We would, they're pretty social media savvy down there. And so Juan Carlos, they put it all out over the internet that where we would be, and we would no longer show up in these little towns and the church squares up in the highlands, up in Chichicastenango and up in that area. And all these kids would just come out of the woodwork. Some would use dirt and a stick to draw with. They didn't have any material. I ended up giving most of my material away, and then right at the last I ran out of paint, and I asked the gentleman that I gave my paints to, my extra paints, if I could have a squirt. He goes, no. So I had to improvise. It's a good lesson not to give your paints away. But anyway.